Good evening. It is reaction time here at Southeastern 16. It is Sunday night. What are you
Sam
laughing at?
Smith. Sam Smith already. Just he's I'm just gonna give you a flurry of Sam Smith comments to start off here.
Right.
No, God no. Um let's see what else he had here. Take the wheel. Um we are going to lose to Kentucky in the Sweet 16. Why? What have I done to deserve this? As we know, Sam, noted Tennessee fan, but what a great start here. So
I'm on a text thread with a couple of Tennessee fan buddies of mine, and the response has been a little different, but somewhat similar in some vein. Anyway, in all seriousness, congratulations to Kentucky, the Wildcats, with a really impressive 84-75 win over Illinois. Now we will get Tennessee and Kentucky in the Sweet 16, just as I think all of us had picked before the tournament. And boy, what an interesting one that'll be.
yeah, I mean, listen, the SEC is going to get at least one team in the Elite Eight. Now, national narrative may be, well, the SEC lost a team in the Sweet 16. Well, we said this is going to be a possibility. Teams may wind up playing each other, and here we are. Tennessee and Kentucky. Yeah, it seemed like when the bracket came out, we thought there was a good chance this was going to happen. And don't worry, I will get you the opening line for this game. I'll give you the spread here in just a minute because it is already out, as you would expect.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think this was a game where from the very start, you felt like Kentucky had a little bit of that swagger, like a little bit of that. All right, we got everybody here, the whole crew that's going to be on this team the rest of the season. We're all back. We're all ready to go. And they came out with, I thought, a little bit of a swagger, a little bit of an edge to them early in that game. And of course, it helps when you hit 10 of your first 11 shots in the second half. Now that did even out because I think they missed 10 of 11 at one point down the stretch. But Kobe Brea, this guy, a jump shooting machine, goes for 23 points in this game, 10 of 16. He scored 10 straight, I think, at one point for Kentucky. But I'm going to get to a couple super chats here early because I think they're very important. Steven brings this up. $5 super chat. We appreciate it, Steven. The defense with Andrew Carr and Mari Williams and the guards. I mean, Van Gundy there towards the end was talking about Andrew Carr made one of those plays where he switched off a screen and then he just he kept his body in front. Somebody was trying to guard, or somebody was trying to drive against him, and he kept his body and was enough of a nuisance to not allow Illinois to get a good shot. And I think those were the little things where, like that, I mean, Amari Williams was just a beast in this game. What did he finish with? The overall stat line, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks in this one. But again, go beyond just the stats in this one. I thought, and they're very impressive, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of those little thing type plays that happened throughout the course of this game where it felt like Illinois may try to make a run, but I mean, yeah, here's a good one. Brian says it. Illinois couldn't hold on to the ball. Lamont Butler would just come through, and I feel like he would just take it from him. He was in the right place at the right time. And, Kentucky being able to force some of those turnovers, I thought, at the right time, that was significant. And they brought up the stat, right? Kentucky was like, what is it, guys? You can tell me in the chat, Kentucky fans, but it was average like 6 steals a game. They had 12 at one point. So I don't know what they finished with. I know Illinois had 14 turnovers. They finished with 14 steals. Yeah, that makes sense. So, I mean, there's the difference in the game right there.
I mean, other than having a really tough time guarding Kylan Boswell, who's built like an NFL strong safety, what would your gripe with Kentucky be today?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to go on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I thought that was one place where Illinois just kind of had an answer that Kentucky didn't have an answer for. But other than that, I mean, I thought they're on ball. They got some open court steals. They had one late in the game I think Butler got that fed Garrison for a layup and a 3-point play or opportunity. I don't remember if they hit the free throw, like right when Illinois had gotten close. And that was a big thing. Did you hear the quote at halftime? Or maybe when Lauren Shahadi was interviewing Butler, and she kept asking him about his shoulder. And first of all, he could barely hear her because it was so loud in there. But when he just like basically it's no big deal. She'd quoted Mark Pope saying his shoulder's about to fall off. I get it was not his dominant hand, but still, I mean, just his ability to be out there and play through the pain and whatever he was going through today, that was a big, big difference for the Cats.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think there's any question about it. I was laughing at this comment. So I thought of you guys when there were a couple plays down there for Kentucky. I thought of Iron Kentucky. I thought of some other fans who we have this discussion, I feel like, every stream. There were a couple of those. I think Owe had one. I don't remember who else. There were a couple other ones where it was just like the easiest opportunity to just dunk the ball, and they just go for the layup. It rattles around the rim. I think that a lot of those were in the first half, but I was just my immediately thought, oh yeah, we've just talked about this. Like just slam that thing home. But that's okay. It didn't matter. So yeah, I mean, just tremendous stuff. Yeah, Shane.
Sorry, you know what I'm laughing at, don't you?
What's Sam
it's
got?
Sam. I hope Sam is right with Jesus right now because this man may have a heart attack.
Well, boy, I can't think of a prediction video I'm going to hate doing more than Kentucky and Tennessee because we're going to be a 50-50 split no matter who we pick in that one.
Oh.
That's for sure. By the way, Miguel, I may have the wrong channel here because we all picked Kentucky to beat Illinois in this one. So, we certainly brought up some reasons why Illinois can win this game. That's certainly for sure. At least I think we all picked Kentucky. I know I picked Kentucky. Pretty sure Max did too. But yeah, I just think it was one where we looked at the matchup, and I think one of the things we said was talking about when you looked at Illinois, right? We said they were just a team that they felt very streaky for a while there. They sort of they felt okay. Sorry, you guys reminded me. I don't remember what we did in the preview, but whatever.
I wasn't on the preview.
You weren't, so don't blame.
But apparently,
Max
I picked
Barr, okay?
Illinois.
That's fine. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, no one should care at this point who picked who. Like, let's talk about the Cats going to the Sweet 16. But I think the thing we did talk about with Illinois was the fact that it was a team that we said one of the bottom 5 teams in the country in turnover percentage. And we're like, okay, Kentucky's going to be able to get what they want. And I thought they set the tone early in terms of being able to run their offense. And I've said all season, there's really not a lot better when it comes to Mark Pope running his offense. And they were able to get some of those shots, I thought, early on. And, of course, getting Kobe Brea open shots. That was the key to this game. And, I mean, he had some tough shots too, right? And I thought that was the difference. I mean, it really came down to that. And we said, too, this was not a great shooting team from Illinois. You guys have mentioned in the chat. I mean, they just clanged some off the rim. Just clanged them. And they finished, what was it, Chris? 9 of 30-something from 3. 9 of 32 was the final number there for Illinois. So, but again, a lot of that, I think, Kentucky defense, where, yes, Illinois missed some open shots, but Kentucky made it a bit harder on them, and that's why we said that scenario where you have Lamont Butler back, like, he is the driving force of this team. We can credit everybody else in terms of what they did, but man, he is the guy that makes everything go because he's the point guard, he's the defender that just, as we said, just out of nowhere sometimes, just popped in there, got a couple key steals, and then obviously made some big shots. So, I mean, Kentucky, an overall performance that is the kind of performance that, again, can keep you going far in this tournament.
I think this next thing I'm going to tell you might be the story of their year, along with the other thing I want to maybe. Well, the next thing I'm going to mention after this isn't like maybe 2 or 3 on the story of the year list for Kentucky, but it'll be close. But the first thing, and I do think this is the story of the year, Ken Pom has updated his ratings after this game. Where you think Kentucky is in defense?
Where were they before? Tell me that, and then I'll try to guess.
Well, we defined before because what was it, a month and a half ago?
Before this game. They were like 55
I
or
don't
something,
remember.
weren't they? Yeah.
I don't remember.
So they cracked the top 50 probably.
45. Like if you had told us in early February, mid-February that Kentucky was going to be top 50 in defense at Ken Pom, I don't think we would have seen it, especially with Butler being hurt so much of that time, which
Yeah.
kind of points me to my next thing. I think that's where having all the guys hurt that they've had at different points allowed him to get some time with some of his reserves. They had 20 points off the bench today between Chandler, Albanor, Garrison, and Noah, all of whom did some nice things at times. Chandler was barely a part of anything they did at one point, but he's a talented kid. I mean, I think now they've got 9 guys they can play who all give them something, and that has made up for a lot there too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, I'm just loving the chat. Ethan brings it up. We're gonna have to get a hashtag going. If Amari Williams doesn't dunk the ball, pass it. Hashtag dunk the ball, Amari. Can we get that going in the chat? So that's I mean, look, Bill brings up a good stat here. Remember, we were talking about that. 112 was the number, and we were like, Alabama finished last year second in offense, 111 in defense, I think it was. And we kept saying, how eerily similar was Kentucky at that point, where it was like offense was incredible, defense number was right there next to Alabama, who made the Final Four, and we're like, anything's possible with this team. And now they're like, you know what? We're not going to settle for that. We're going to improve our defensive standing by what? 60, 50-some spot, whatever it is. You guys know I'm not the math major here, but I mean, that's been a big key. And I think, too, we just mentioned like the scenario where just letting these guys get more game time together, because throughout the entire year, it's just you had guy missing here, guy missing there. We started Iron Kentucky, hashtag dunk the ball Amari. But yeah, like everybody's going with it now. You guys are asking, you shall receive on the old hashtag here. But I like this one. Matt Hatter, dunk the bleeping ball, Amari. Not just dunk the ball, dunk the bleeping ball. So, yeah, I think that is, and everybody reminding me too. I'm sorry, we've done so many prediction videos. I couldn't remember. Come on, let's just give our guy Max a mulligan on this one. He's very under the weather. He's lost his voice. Come on. Max has been a backer of the SEC and the Cats this season. Give him a break here on this one. But, just the overall, like you said, the production off the bench. Chandler hit a couple big shots at the right time when they needed them. A couple of his were 3 feet beyond the three-point line, too, I felt like. He hit some big shots. That guy has no fear whatsoever, not afraid to step up and take a big shot. And the usual guys, as we said, offensively, Brea did not hesitate. If he was open, he was taking the shot, which he should. Oway made his plays. Just a really good performance. And like everybody has said in the chat, too, that is the kind of performance where, hey, if you're a Kentucky fan, now that you see you've got your full roster that you're going to have for the rest of the season, we know, 2 guys aren't going to be on the floor, but this group right here, they can keep winning games when they play like this. And this is the team. I know someone said it at the very beginning of the chat. Hey, this is the team we saw beat Duke, beat Gonzaga. Like, these were the kind of performances where when they found themselves in situations like, hey, somebody has to make a big play, the other team starts to make a run, they respond. And that was the most impressive part to me. But quickly, Chris, before I jump it back to you here, a couple super chats I want to get to. $5 from Corey. We appreciate you, Corey, chiming in with the super chat. $2 here. Let me tell you about a young Mormon man from Utah. How about that as a super chat? Zach with a $2 super chat. Kentucky, Tennessee 3. The popcorn's ready. And then the number 1 overall seed in the chat. We love you guys, but the number 1 overall seed we know is Mother Carol. $16 super chat. You know why? $16 for the Sweet 16. Love the Cats. The gut bracket is right. Again, we should stop picking games after the gut bracket, Chris. We should never go with anything other than the gut bracket, because I'm telling you, once we try to analyze everything and do 14,000 prediction videos after the bracket comes out, you analyze yourself into a circle of just confusion. It's Alan in The Hangover when he's at the poker table. You got all these numbers flying at you, and just go with the gut. And the gut said we're getting the Sweet 16 between Tennessee and Kentucky, and that's what we got. So
I'm trying to sort Kentucky's adjusted efficiency on defense at Bart Torvik from after that Ole Miss game on, not counting the Ole Miss game, and I cannot figure out how to do this.
Hmm.
I don't see like an
Well.
enter button or whatever.
Well, I'm glad you're trying to do that, and not me. So
Yeah, where's Max Bar when we need him? Somebody in the
yeah.
chat will catch that. I would like to see what that number is.
Well,
I mean, they've got to be top 15 in the country.
speaking of numbers, are you ready? Everyone in the chat, are you ready? And don't cheat. Don't cheat. No one cheat here, okay? We're on the honor system here at Southeastern 16. The honor system, folks. By the way, before we get there, Matthew the intern's excited, enjoying the fact the second weekend for the first time since 2019. The Cats back in the second weekend of the tournament. Matthew, number 1 overall seed on the staff, no doubt about it. By the way, 1 a.m. in Barcelona right now. No problem. Go Big Blue. Big Blue Nation representing in Barcelona right now at 1 a.m., whatever it is over there. So,
you watch a sporting event from Europe?
You mean like have I watched any events that happen in Europe, or have I been in Europe and watched a sporting event?
Well, I mean, we'll just take any at this point.
I've not been in Europe
them
and watched
online
the
while
event.
you were in Europe.
Yeah. So
that's dedication.
I have not.
I've done that once.
Okay. All right. Are you ready? Guess the line. Tennessee,
I'm going to say
Kentucky.
Tennessee by 4.
All right, chat. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Weigh in. What do you think the opening line is for Tennessee, Kentucky? That game is going to take place on Friday. And let me know what you think. What's the opening line? By the way, I think with the game times, my fear is that Tennessee, Kentucky, Auburn, Michigan are going to be at the same time. And that would just be brutal. Brutal. Look at all the numbers we got coming in here. Tremendous. I love this. Love it. By the way, let me find this comment. David said he used to watch the Cats all the time when he was stationed in Japan. So, again, got to watch the Cats by any means necessary, right? We got a lot of great numbers coming in here. A lot of great numbers. But I'm going to pull up one of the winners. Somebody else may have put it, but again, we got a lot coming in. But I'm going to grab this one right here because this is the winner for the line. Coming from Will here, Tennessee, 4.5 is your line on that one, Chris. So,
not surprising.
Kentucky has beaten Tennessee twice this season. Tennessee opens as a 4.5-point favorite.
You know what it's time to do? What I'm always doing. The tickets as low as.
Uh-oh. Get your tickets now.
Oh, my. Because that's going to have, let's see. Purdue's going to be there and Houston's going to be there, right?
Yeah, so think about that. Purdue is going to be there too. And that ticket is going to be wild.
I've not looked yet, and I don't know how up to. I'm going to guess because how many seats are in that place? It might not even matter.
Hey, is this so 10 Pistol here brings up, look up Kentucky's performance in that arena. Had a hard time there in recent memory. You guys refresh my memory on the games that have happened there because I know you will remember. I know you will, but I don't remember these kind of things.
How many seats are in that place? I mean, I'm thinking we got ticket prices at least $200. Don't you think?
Well, we've already got a $500
maybe not yet
number here that we're seeing. So, yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like you put this in Indianapolis, we know Purdue's there. Like of course the Cats are going to be there. The Vols will be there. Houston will be there. Let's not act like Houston won't be there too. But boy, that's going to be a great ticket.
$196.
Well,
Auburn tickets as low as $489.
Well, that 186 is about to skyrocket. Here you go. Here's the stat from Toon. Kentucky 1-6. Oh no. Corey says, don't remind us of that. Don't remind us. I was just curious. Someone brought it up in the chat and I just couldn't remember. So yeah. I'm just saying. So
I might have seen one of those games.
I just don't remember. Like I can't remember where games are played. I just especially in the tournament, because I feel like all the venues look the same sometimes, and I'm just like I don't remember anything. But some of those are I assume some of those are tournament games, but I could be wrong. So you guys just have to remind me. So, oh wait, yeah, there was one game I forgot that was in Indy. Yes, I do remember that one. So we will not speak of it on this show.
Is that the one that I was at? I think that.
I don't know, but we're not going to speak of the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
So, not at all. But let Kentucky fans live in the moment. They're excited.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to say this quickly because we didn't say this at the top. If you are an Alabama fan, here's the issue we've run into. So I think the way we're going to do this is this Alabama game is still ongoing. And to be honest with you, I can't actually watch the final 5 to 6 minutes. I know they're down to like 2.5 because I can't have something else going because of my internet. It wouldn't work. So I need to go back and watch like the final 6, 7 minutes of this Alabama game. So what we're going to do is, after we finish this stream, we're going to come back tonight with Alabama and Ole Miss. So if you're an Alabama fan jumping in, we're not going to talk about it at the end of the stream because I want to actually be able to have an actual, thought on the way this game finishes, which right now is looking pretty good for the Tide. But I'm just letting you know that is our plan. So we will come back and talk about the Tide and Ole Miss tonight in one stream. That'll kind of be our wrap-up stream. Kentucky fans, jump back in. Tennessee fans, jump back in. We'll probably talk a little bit about the matchup, kind of in our wrap-up second round, first weekend stream. We'll talk a bit more about Florida from earlier, so just keep that in mind if you're there. But anyways, Kentucky fans, Tennessee fans, it's going to be fantastic. Like, this is just... It's like you could not have drawn this up any better, Chris. Drew this up, whatever the right verb is. They all run together for me. You couldn't have gotten this any better because now you kind of are in a scenario where these two teams, as we said, we've seen how well they can play at times this year. And, of course, with the way the bracket was going to go, you get 14 teams in. You're going to have to put these two teams against each other somewhere, SEC on SEC. This is the matchup we get. And man, I'm telling you, if Kentucky plays like they did today, boy, there's a lot to like because I thought that they executed the game plan so well, and it always helps when you're hitting shots. But man, this is a team all year that's been hitting shots. Like, we've never sort of doubted the idea that Kentucky can just go on these kind of runs like they did, whatever it was, some of those streaks. So yeah, just tremendous. So.
Man, next week is going to be so much fun.
Well, it's going to be fun for some of us because,
right.
Listen, I'm sure that Kentucky-Tennessee prediction video we do will be an all-timer here at the channel.
Oh, man.
There's no question about that.
Like
I might just say, you know what? I might wear half orange, half blue, and just be like, hey, I'm just cheering for a good game, guys. Maybe I'm going to turn into that guy when we do the prediction video.
I'm sure all the comments will be fair and kind.
Sure. I will just say, you know what? I just want everyone to play hard and have fun. Get a juice box at halftime.
Are there really any winners there? I mean,
yeah. There will be.
Trophy.
There will be one big winner coming out of that game. Whoever wins that game is going to be a huge winner. So, yeah, because they're going to be one step closer to the Final Four. Shout out to Corey, too. Another $5 super chat. Says Lamont Butler doesn't need two shoulders. He's putting us on his back. Who needs a shoulder?
I like it.
When the man just puts it on the back. So, yeah. So, hey, here you go. I've thought about this, so it did start to enter my mind. We know the probability is still low, but Caleb says, $5 super chat, the Kentucky-Arkansas title game. I mean, can you imagine?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, if that ever got to that point, right?
Does the loser hate that one more than the winner loves it?
I don't know. I think
I mean, that's
about that. You're talking about the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. Like, that would be.
Oh man,
I can only imagine that scenario. But we may be saying the same thing about the Sweet 16 game between here. Zach says $2 super chat. Can Ole Miss get the SEC to 4-0 today? Well, we'll see.
Well, Zach, I had you to the 8. Or not you. Zach's not Ole Miss, but I had Ole Miss to the 8, so we'll see.
Chris did. So we're going to see if we can get another SEC on SEC game maybe if Auburn and Ole Miss keep advancing in this tournament. So, yeah. But I think that's kind of where we are now. But, yeah, there's the truth. Toon says the ticket to that game will be $1,000 minimum if you had a Kentucky-Arkansas final there. So, anyways, all right. Well, that's where we're at on the Cats. You guys weigh in. Give us some emojis here. We always enjoy the emojis. How you feeling right now? If you're a Kentucky fan, if you're a Tennessee fan, how you feeling? I'm sure Sam Smith find a vomit emoji somewhere. I assume there's one of those. But yeah, I think is that Oreo over there?
That's Oreo. He's very excited
He's
already.
he's fired up. Um, he is fired up about this matchup. But yeah, I mean, again, we kind of talked about the game itself, what stood out. Just thought it was a total team effort for Kentucky. They just did so many things well in key moments, because it felt like there were a couple times we said where Illinois was trying to make that run. They make a run here, but Kentucky always had an answer. And it felt like it was always kind of somebody different at different points, too. Brea was the sharpshooter there for a little bit. He was just hitting some nice shots. The mid-range game was working out well for him. But Murray Williams would make a big defensive play. Andrew Carr would make a nice defensive play. Of course, Butler's everywhere. Like I said earlier, Chandler would hit a couple big threes. Almanor hit a big three, I thought, in the corner at one point. I don't remember when that was. Maybe it was the first half. Yeah, just total team effort for the Cats.
Did they put Butler on Lanier or on Ziegler? I don't remember how that played out the first time.
I don't. We'll get to that research. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch those games.
Or did he even play?
I'll go back and watch those games. I can't remember anything past these games this weekend right now.
Right.
I'm sure there's an obvious answer when you're watching one team, like a lot of fans are, like, because we're watching so many games. I cannot remember how it played out the last time. Butler didn't play in that game in Knoxville. I do know that, but remember that's the one they won in Knoxville without him. So
is this
the second time around?
This has got to be like, with the possible exception of what happened at the end of the 80s in the Pitino takeover, like the weirdest 12 months in the history of Kentucky basketball.
I mean, think about the conversation we're having this time last year. I mean, it just, like it's completely flipped now where, remember too, when they hired Mark Pope, what was the knock? It was like, hey, this guy hasn't won an NCAA tournament game yet. And you're taking a big chance, right? You're taking a big risk here. But dude, they came out and
I like really that hire better than most people did. I thought he had done really well at the places he had been.
Well, but like with any hire, you're always going to say,
and I get it. It's like, just because you hit AAA pitching doesn't mean you'll hit it at the majors. I get it. I mean, that might be a little bit much, but you get the analogy I'm making. But I'm big on guys that win at the level that they win at and move up and then win there. And what you can, I say this. Look what BYU just did in the portal with landing not the portal, with NIL landing the number one player in the country. Mm-hmm. That aside, your ceiling to recruit at Kentucky's much higher. And when you've got a guy that has been there and done that and has the passion this guy's got. I mean, you remember me telling you guys, I was at media day. I was in the room when the guy spoke. And you just about left the building wanting to run through a wall for the guy. I mean, it was impressive, I thought.
Yeah. No, you were all over it from the start. I just think it's the execution of the offensive execution. When I see Kentucky play, and I see we've seen a lot of teams this week play. I mean, they're easily, in my opinion, top three when it comes to just the way they run their stuff and get what they want offensively, which shouldn't be a big surprise. Like, yeah, it's just that they come down and they know exactly what they're doing on offense, whereas some teams that we pick on are like, we don't know what they're doing on some possessions. But that's where I think just having sort of the flexibility to run stuff the way they do, that is definitely something. And you're talking about these first two rounds of the tournament. When I watch them play and I watch what they do offensively, I watch some other teams that maybe are higher seeds or, wherever in the tournament. I don't see that same level of consistency in terms of maybe how they execute their stuff. So, here we go. $5 super chat. By the way, you see Oreo in the background there, everyone. Oreo's making an appearance. $5 super chat. How crazy would it be if Auburn and Ole Miss played for a fourth time? Yeah, how about that? Wouldn't that be something? So that's still in play. We'll see if the Rebels can march on here after this one. So there you go. So Ole Miss is going to get ready to start. Again, if you're just joining us and you're an Alabama fan saying, all right, what are we about to do here? Guys, we are going to jump on after the Ole Miss game. That way we can give you our full thoughts on Alabama, St. Mary's, because we also have to watch Ole Miss, Iowa State right now. So it's kind of that, it's the double whammy of the timing of these games. So Alabama's going to advance on. That gives the SEC at least 6 teams in the Sweet 16. We said, Chris, 6 was the magic number. We thought that, to me, was meeting expectations. Even 5, I think, would have been understandable. But 6, and now potentially a 7th if Ole Miss can get a win. So right on target, I think, with where the SEC needs to be. You're muted, Chris. The Oreo mute is still on.
Sorry, the dog. And yet, will anybody care if they're not cutting down the nets at the end?
Well,
which I think
no,
would be unfair. But
I think you got some teams the way they're playing right now. I think some teams got a chance to do that. So maybe the Cats in that group, Tennessee in that group, Auburn, Florida we talked about earlier, Alabama pulls away from St. Mary's. So excited to see how these teams do in the next round. Arkansas, as we said, on a roll. So,
by the way, if you went by Ken Palm as your tourney picker, boy, you've been a winner.
Wow.
Of the top 12 teams, only one of them has been eliminated so far, and that's Gonzaga, which played Houston, which was 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it.
Now, you could lose Michigan State tonight, could lose Arizona, but it's not been the most drama-filled of tournaments.
That's okay for the SEC. We needed as little drama as possible for the SEC because you had so many top seeds. So far, so good. Knock on wood. All right, Kentucky fans, enjoy the celebration. We will, again, be back tonight. If you want to come back in tonight, we will kind of do a full wrap-up. We'll probably do an early Sweet 16 preview. We're not going to make our picks. Don't worry. By the way, on the way out, Big Baller Brett, noted Alabama fan. Nobody believed in the Tide. Yeah, no one thought Alabama was going to win, Big Baller Brett. No one.
What did I tell you today, Blake?
Listen.
What did I tell you this morning? What did I tell you this morning about Alabama?
Well, you said they were going to just demolish them. They didn't just demolish them.
Yeah, it wasn't a demolition, but it was decisive.
Well, yeah, but you acted like they're going to come out and win by 50. They didn't win by 50. So.
I did think they'd win by more than they did.
Well, again, the story of this is that Big Baller Brett, you're coming in late. We're going to talk about the Tide after the Ole Miss game because we've kind of been caught between games here schedule-wise. We need to watch Ole Miss. I need to go back and watch the final 7 minutes of Alabama and see how the score wound up the way it was and all that. So we want to make sure we give you the best possible product. So we're going to do that. We're going to hop off now. I'm going to go back, watch a little Alabama replay of the final stretch run of the game. We're going to watch Ole Miss against Iowa State. Tonight will be like your typical, like we used to do on the Saturdays, right? The SEC primetime show, where we kind of just do a full wrap-up of the day. So we'll talk about Alabama in depth. We'll talk about Ole Miss, but we'll also tie everything into the Sweet 16, give you our thoughts on how things are looking with some of these matchups heading into next week. So that's the plan.
Yeah, we'll have that. And we'll have – somebody was asking about baseball. We will probably do power rankings in the morning at some point, maybe the afternoon. Depends on how we schedule our day out and recap the weekend at the same time. So we have not forgotten that. This just obviously takes priority. Anyway, thank you for watching. For Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. Have a great night. We'll see you again in a couple of hours with more hoops content here at Southeastern 16.